All right, all you devils, happy Friday. Sam here with you. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock here on the 29th here, so we'll get an update here on Bitcoin. Well, not a whole lot has changed. I think this is getting tougher. So, well, no, here, let's just back up here for the broader review. This leg down here is, I don't know that anybody's going to have a count they have a whole lot of conviction in, but we got to look at some different scenarios here. So, let me do it this way. So my premise on the triangle has been entirely related to this swing here. As I view it, it's a lovely zigzag, right? So 5-3-5, right? So it plays beautifully. It finishes. We got a clean 5 here. In my view, this is a zigzag. So if that's a zigzag, it kind of forces you into the diag, right? Into the triangle. Because otherwise, we've got to force fit a 5 in here. Because the alternative, here, okay. So let's finish up here, and then I'll go to the alternative. If this is the D here, then we it's okay. You'd like it at the golden zone, but you're not always going to get it, right? So you'd be looking for this to finish this way. There comes the E. There comes the 4, and then off we go. Well, the first problem is when we go down, we'll look at it off of this index here. This is not what you'd hoped here. So the alternate here for this to hold, right? Yeah, assuming it's going to hold, right? We've got to do this in some sort of a 3, right? So we've got the ABC here. This is going to have to eventually pivot here, and then we're going to have to go up here, and then we get back to this, right? And then the last 3 comes down, and we get the triangle, right? That is still, I think, it's a candidate, right? But this leg here is starting to get problematic for that to start to look like the most probable path. So we have to look at this and say, well, okay, well, how are we, if it's not going to be the triangle, and there's a pretty strong, I mean, I can feel the sentiment amongst my members, right? So the sentiment is becoming more and more bearish, like the triangle is not going to hold, it's going to break. Well, there's a part of me that the more I hear that, the more I think it's going to hold, right? It's because, well, just no reflection on my members. It's just the crowd dynamics, right? You can feel it across crypto Twitter, just in general, there's a malaise here. Now, we certainly have plenty of macro events in the background here that you can certainly understand how people are embracing a risk-off attitude, right? I mean, Jesus, right? Between the Fed and the war and the inflation. I mean, this is not the macro environment for aggressive risk taking, and Bitcoin has not yet, right? We just have to acknowledge, has not yet become a safe haven in the face of volatility. It's not. It essentially tracks the Nasdaq, so it's trading just like a tech stock, which is not what it's designed to do, right? It's not what we hope to see here as long-term hodlers, is that Bitcoin not being a place where people are turning to in the face of all this volatility and uncertainty. All right, so let's just play that through. So if this is going to be a 3, and okay, so that's a possibility. Now, of course, you'd be making the assumption here that, and we looked at this last week, that the algo that fired here, which has a target down here, is not going to get its target. Now, we'll look at the daily. We're sitting right in the middle of a golden zone, but that better hold. It's going to distort it a little bit. But when I go over to, I don't know, I've got it on Bitstamp or Coinbase here. We'll look at that. You're sitting right at a golden zone here. Now, it's a log scale golden zone. Let's see if that holds. But the structure here doesn't look particularly, what did we want to see here? A nice big 3, right? And then you'd be thinking, okay, well, now we got the E. Now, so unless this is going to be 3, we're going to do it this way and then come down here, this is looking tenuous. So we have to at least say, okay, well, let's assume the triangle breaks. Let's assume they're going to come down. Well, here, let me just, I'll just hide it. Let's do it this way. Just not lose it. Let me hide it. Okay, so let's assume this is. I guess I got to do the same thing here. Let's take that off the table. Okay, so what does that mean, right? So let's just assume that. Let's just start with this. This algo has fired here, and it's got a target. So why would we assume that it's not going to make its target? Well, okay, that's getting to be a tougher argument to make because of the the swing structure in here. This does not look like a corrective 3, but we'll get there in a minute. Well, there's a couple of things we got to recognize here. And again, we talked about this last week here. So as we know, the market will gravitate towards where it can find liquidity. Well, where's all the liquidity, right? We don't even have to wonder about it, right? It's all underneath these stops, right? All underneath here, we know there's going to be a massive amount of liquidity because that's where all the stops are, right? So whales are looking at that, obviously, right? They recognize, okay, we can go down here, grab all those stops, and then run it. And you just logically, right? I mean, if you could, wouldn't you? Right, that's what I would do if I had that kind of muscle, right? So what? I mean, that's just if we get close, they're going to get it. I'm pretty. I think that's a reasonable bet. If we start to tap into, well, you can look at it this way. Oh shit, where's the here brush tool? All of this down here, this is all liquidity, right? So each one of those pivots, right? There's going to be stops under each of them. So those may very well be targets to go, just to start. Oh, that's going to, here, how do I get rid of that? That's going to start crushing, what do I want? Hodlrs will be in here long term, but those that are trying to trade this here, they're going to get dinged on all of those, right? Because there's going to be liquidity events right underneath those. And when we look at the daily chart, you can make a case here that whales will use that as inducement, right? So they're going to grab those stops, and then there is an order block down here that may be the destination. But to my point here, if we stay with Elliott before we get into market structure, if this is going to pivot down here, so again, how do we do this? Well, if this is going to do it here, well, we got to come back to what I think is a force fit, but here it is nonetheless, right? Market's not going to give you what you want all the time. Can we turn that into a 5? Well, it's fucking ugly, but yeah, you can do it. I resist until the market forces me to. That is a zigzag as far as I'm concerned. Now, on my team, I have very skilled Elliotticians, and as well as amongst my members that absolutely disagree with me. They're just convinced the triangle is going to break. And given the background, it very well might. Right? I mean, certainly nothing says we hold here. But if we're going to come down and get there, how do we have to do it? Well, we got to turn that into a 5 because the only way we can do it. Oh well, fuck. Wait, pardon me. We could turn this into a. We could turn this into a 3-3-5, and then we're going way lower, right? This would be 1-2, right? So I do not think that's happening, but can't rule it out. So how are we going to do it? Well, we'd have to do it as a WXY. So we'd have to. Oh shit, where are you? Let's take that one off and put that one on. Okay, so if we're going to do that, if this is so we can. Oh shit, you'd have to do it over here, right? So this becomes A, B, C. So here's your W. This becomes the X. Now, if we're going to do an ABC here to get a Y, well then this has to be. Right, this has to be an A, or I mean, we could do it as this would have to retrace much higher. But since that hasn't happened, you got to think A, B, C for the Y, right? To get you the 4 down here, to give them a chance here to go get all those stops, take it down, run it, and then break the hearts of everyone who's sitting with a stop down here, and then off we go, right? That would you could just see it. It's just. It's like waiting to happen if we start to accelerate lower. So we got to turn this into a 5, which I am very reluctant to do. So I'm sitting here stuck going, not until I'm forced to do it. And in order to do that, we're going to have to take out this low, right? That's the first thing that has to happen. And break that triangle. So, the triangle is essentially right here. So we start to break that, well then... And if we're doing that this week, then I'll be back here going, God damn it. Well, so you can hear it's such an ugly 5. I mean, you damn near have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the big 5. I mean, it is ugly. It's anybody's guess. It's a force fit, period. It's a force fit to accommodate what the market's doing. But there are times when the market's just gonna not give you what you're looking for, right? Elliott's not perfect. Don't expect it to be. It's crowd psychology, crowd dynamics. What's the one thing that we know that is consistent across all of time? The crowd is always wrong. What's the crowd sentiment right now? Could it be any more bearish? Right. So until this geometry is broken, I am not changing that into a 5. I just refuse to do it. Right. So because that is guiding all of my analysis here. Now, call me stubborn. Right. I may well be. Right. I've done it before. But again, I'm just going to hold here until I see that break. Now, so enough on this. But I just wanted you to see how we could get there. Well, fuck, we do it as a WXY. I think it's probably just. I mean, you could do it a couple of different ways, but let's just keep it simple, right? 3, 3, 3, out. All right, we shall see, right? And if nothing else, right, just the path of the algo. Oh, I think if I'm not mistaken here, this has a nice target right there. So we have a corner pocket, right, with a target, with 80% odds of getting there to complete this, and I'd be damned, I'm going to be pissed if I'm turning that into a 5. But the market, you know, can make you angry on a regular basis, right? Because it's not doing what you're anticipating or what you're expecting. Now, are we going to get there? Well, it doesn't look like we're going to get here in that timeline. So because it's corrective, I would probably look over here and say, okay, maybe we're doing it in that timeline. Maybe further, right? I'd look modified as well. And we're doing it a little bit later in time. What's that put us? June. We shall see, right? First thing that has to happen to confirm, we got to break this and have a solid close below, right? Not just a wick that goes through. I want to see a solid close. Break it. Yeah, you could do it right there. But if they get this close, I will be shocked if they don't go run those stops. Shocked. But of course, market can be shocking on a daily basis. Okay, let me get off of that. Oh, what have I got over here? Just kind of big picture, right? Always a good idea, and say, all right, what's going on here? Now, note here, I'm out of log scale. I'm just kind of eyeballing here. Okay, tendencies, right? We consolidate up here, drop down, consolidate up here, consolidate. Now this, we're not going anywhere. Now here, I still have the triangle geometry here, and certainly you can understand how people are saying, oh, it doesn't look right, right? It looks, you'd expect it up here, which is why the 618, right, is more common. So the geometry is getting stretched. I mean, certainly still could be a triangle. We come down here and pop and go. But just good to kind of pull out here and say, okay, well, let's just take it off and just, oh shit, what did I do there? What the fuck? Oh, I have an alert on it, that's why. I have a little alert on this. If it breaks, right, because I'm paying attention to see if it breaks. All right, so we'll leave it there. Shit, I think I had it right there. Okay, so there's a little reminder. I've got an alert. So again, consolidation. Well, okay, so then I started looking, okay, well here, before we get into the TDI, I'm just looking at the OBV, which is, though I use this a lot in day trading, it's a nice reference, okay? Well, let's just look back here. Oh, this is a free one. So it's called OBV oscillator, but it has this nice divergence feature in it, which I kind of, and I've just drawn the white lines in here. So note here. So here, I'm trying to open this up. Oh shit, come here. Okay, so when we break, right, when we're breaking lower here, look what happens to the OBV. Right, now we consolidate here. Now before we go, right, here's the, all right, so before we go, here's the launch here, right? So note here, there's the big launch here, but then you can really clearly see the lack of follow through. So fade back to, we get a little bit below the 0 line here, launch, right? Break this trend line, launch, right? Here comes all the buyers, up we go. Now we consolidate, look again, right? There's no follow through, right? Just good God, right? In your face. Now you add something like, oh God, this is essentially an RSI, but look at the divergence in the RSI, the OBV, that was screaming, we're coming down. All right, I know, it's always easy in hindsight. So we come back over here, again, consolidation. Well, we've had a couple of tries at it. So here was the effort here that we just had that led to this little pump we had and now has rolled over, right? Because we don't sustain. Now this one looked a little bit better. We essentially double topped up here. I don't know if I get them right on it. Double top, right? A little push, right? So what'd they do here? Just ran the stops, right? There. So that's the 200. That's the guide EMA, right? So it's a nice proxy for if you just want to clean your chart up a little bit. Then the Vegas wave would essentially be right on top of it. I think I have the Vegas wave, right? So Vegas wave right on top, right next to it, right? So it's just a personal preference. I've been using it a lot with this cleaner template. So here, consolidation, right? But look at all every time we get a rally, look at the volume come in, right? And we're not seeing the same thing. I mean, last time we had something this extreme, right, was the big drop from when we hit it was our first all-time high. And then we started to come down here. Very, very aggressive, but we're seeing selling come in here. And the OBV dropped down, but it's coming back quickly. And then through all of this, it's accumulation here. Now, we had the same thing happening here, so you can see again, right? If I just do it this way, so we've had a little break here. Now, is that enough? Right? It looks like we potentially could roll over here. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but every Friday at this time, my yard guys always right outside my window. Well, maybe you can't hear it, but I sure as hell can. All right, so I'm out of log scale, so I'm just going to put a regression channel on that. All right, until we get out of here, right? So what do we need to get out of here? Well, we need some buyers, and we need some buy volume to come in here. But until we get out of that channel, we're going to drift lower and lower and lower, unless some... Oh, where's a good... Here's another decent example here, right? Little micro, right? There's the break, right? So we got to get some legs coming out of here, or this is just going to drift, right? And if we roll over, these kind of moves... Well, I mean, here's that liquidity event that we're talking about. If we roll over again, something like that might be just what you'd see here, to come down here and sweep all of that liquidity and then run it higher. So this is a great tool to use to just kind of look for, okay, when strength coming back in, where are my buyers? Where are they? Well, right now they don't seem terribly interested. There's a big effort here. There's a lot of effort to try and get it to come off of these lows, but it just couldn't hold it. So, let's see. Is this the one I have on? I think I had these here. Oh, yeah, I had a couple. Oh, Jesus, I could lose my place here. Okay, right, so here. We look here, right? So the last consolidation down here, right? So now we're not approximate. It's not exactly the same price action structure here. But again, consolidation here, we're down close to the zero line. We get a big rip, right? So we come off of that, the market rallies, here we go, right? So it's the same kind of thing, right? Is that the start of it, right? Because it has to start. We got to cross the trend line. Well, we did. But now another big down day as the markets are... Oh, what's the NASDAQ now? Down 421, right? So it's an ugly Friday. So not surprising that Bitcoin's going to go with that as risk gets taken out. Okay, so I think that's all I had there. We'll wrap up here. All right, so here I've just got, so we guys, many of you members, right, are familiar with we're now partnered with Sonar Labs. So I've got just their material on it. If you are not familiar with it, with the market structure approach that I'm going to use here, well, two things. On our YouTube channel, there's a playlist where you'll see SMC. Oh, it's a dedicated playlist that has some good examples in crypto and the theory behind all of this. So if you're curious about that, get over to our YouTube channel. Jesus, let's see if I can do this on the fly and bring this over quickly. Right, so these two videos right here, TradeDevils SMC market structure theory and training. This one, these two right here, Jesus, will not let me hold that. Right, so that's one to, if you're interested or you don't know what I'm talking about here, that would be one to consider reviewing here. And then if you're interested in demoing the Sonar Labs SMC content, well, we give you a little benefit here. We'll give you 10% off of your monthly, but you'll have to use the link that's in our link tree underneath this video, right? So enough promo here. So let me just get into it on the assumption that you either have a familiarity with this or you're going to. All right, so as we, oh shit, what have I got here? A 2 hour? Oh, that's not what I want. Here, let's get you back here. Okay, so let's look at what we got here. Okay, so this is, how would you count this, right? It's mighty tough to get an accurate count on this. So what can we see here on this 2 hour here? Oh, let's zoom back a little bit. So this is the strong high at the 2 hour. So just look at the 200, right? Trend is down. We know that. The last thing that happened is with all of these wicks here, we come back up here, we hit the supply zone at the 200 and roll over. I mean, like, could you script that any better? Like, I mean, right where, we got one wick through the 200 and then straight down. So there's a nice example of it. So we have changes of character that come all the way up here to get into that supply zone, tag it. And this is actually worth noting. Whenever you're hitting a supply or a demand zone, your anticipation is that it comes out of there quickly, and that not that it lingers around. The more it lingers, the higher the probability it gets out of there. You want it to come in and quickly reject. That's the ideal scenario. So if you were a seller up here and it's lingering, I'm prone to get out and wait and see. If it were to do something like that, then I'd wait for a little retrace here. Maybe there's another order block or a little supply zone here that I could sell off of, rather than let it sit around because you're anticipating it's in, orders get filled, sellers defend and push it out quickly. Now, here, I'm on a 2-hour here, so that, if you're looking at a 15-minute, it might look like more of a range. But the fact that we come up, right, after all this wicking action here, so what likely has happened here? Where do you think the stops were? Right? Where are they now? Down here. So if we start to break lower, it's not unreasonable to anticipate that this is likely to happen again, right? Now, what a bull does not want to see is something like this that sustains and then we get another leg down. Now we're really getting ugly. Now, granted, we're still at 34 here because this is a 2-hour here. We're just looking at a daily. So there's room for this to make a move lower here. Oh, I think this, I've got this highlighted here. That's where we invalidate the triangle. So there's not a long way to go. But what we definitely can see pretty clearly, like this is not hard to make out. Swing, retrace. Now I get a lower low, retrace, right? This is the trade that's hard to take, right? So if you watch or have watched or are going to watch that SMC content, this is the trade that's so hard to take because it's going up. You're like, God damn, I can't sell that. It's coming straight up. That's why you have to sell it. Right? I know that's completely counterintuitive, but if you wait until the market is going up, right, I promise you that's what retail does, right? You cannot do it that way. Well, you can, right? The market's going to teach you that you can't do that, right? You need to take my word for it, let the market teach you. But you cannot buy that. I know. I see. Your natural emotion is going to be, well, fuck, I can't sell it, man. It's going straight up. Exactly why you have to do it, right? Because who will absolutely, positively not sell it there? Retail. Retail is going to buy it there. Who will absolutely, positively never buy it there? Professionals. Right? They never buy the high, ever, and they never do it, right? They let you do it, and then they just bend you over, right? Same thing here. They would never sell a low, right? I mean, I have to, that's a mantra in our, well, you got kind of it's a conundrum, right? But ultimately here, this makes sense, right? So the two things that, I have these pinned in our futures day trading channel just to remind members, right? There's two things. This was taught to me years ago, and then the market reinforces it on a damn near a daily basis. Buyers at lows create new lows. Sellers at highs create new highs. Why? Because your stop becomes so when the market comes down here and you try and pick the turn, your stop becomes the fuel for the next leg, the next stop, right? You just become the fuel until you bail, and then eventually it'll go. But you've got a common phenomenon here that we, in terms of just trading advice or things that you want to try and remember, right? So trying to pick the low is, there's never a reason to do it. Never, ever, right? I promise you the market will bend you over far more times than you're going to get the absolute tick low. There's never a reason to do it. Professionals don't try and do it. Why are you, as an amateur, as a retail trader, why are you trying to do it? I know I say that, and this is a natural tendency. My instinct immediately, the market's going down, I want to buy it. But one of the benefits, and why I thought this was such a nice compliment to what we're already doing, of the SMC is that it makes you wait. It makes you wait for the flip because you never, ever, 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 ever buy that. Ever. Right? You got to wait for, I'm going to use some SMC language here, but you need well, let me do it without that. So you need, at the very least, a higher low. And then you need a higher high. Now, if it comes back down here, that is an area of interest. because of this event. Now, you might say, but you're trying to pick the low. No, I'm not, actually. I've got a very clear location for my stop, right? I've got a clear low-risk trade here. Oh, shit, here, I'll just do it. Oh, let's do it this way, right? So you're trying to do this. Well, in this case, oh, shit, you are trying to do that, right? There's the high you'd be going after. So now none of this has happened, but I'm just trying to show you here. The reason you might do it here, and let's assume the order block's a little bigger than that, the reason you might do it here is because of this, not because I'm trying to nail that turn. I know, right, there's going to be liquidity under here, just like it was here. I know that if the market breaks here, but look at my risk reward here. This is why you do it that way. Right, what's my risk reward there? Oh, just 14 to 1. So how many times do I need to get that, right, before it compensates all the times that it doesn't hold? Not many. Right, and if I'm wrong, what's the impact, right? That's a jab, not an uppercut to the jaw. Right, so I need the swing, the retrace, higher low, then I need a higher high, so I get change of character, and now I come back. What's the premise here? There's going to be unfilled orders here. This would be a place to look for a risk reward that would be favorable. So even though you look at it and say, hey, you're trying to pick the low again. No, I'm not, actually, because I waited for this to happen. Now that's a high probability trade. Now you still would be counter trend, right? Here's the strong high, right? Here's the last high that created a new low, right? So you would be very much counter trend. So you do it knowing that. I mean, look where the 200 is, right? You're going to be counter trend here. Now, so maybe you don't get all of that. Maybe you just get to the next order block. All right, what do you got there? Well, you still got 6 to 1. Things to keep in mind, right? So, but trying to buy this, that's a fool's errand, right? I can tell you all day long, right? But the more you keep doing that, the more negative experience you're going to have, and eventually you're going to blow your account out, and you're going to come back to it and say, okay, well, I'm never going to do that again. Is there anything to do here? Do we really have a trade here? Well, we got to pull. Oh shit, we got to pull out a little bit here. Is there a trade anywhere in here? Well, not at the moment. I mean, here was the sell. There's nothing here to buy. Trend is down, right? I mean, now you see, you had the ingredients right here. If you had a new high here, and we'd had something like that, maybe, okay, right? You would have broken this. So you'd broken this, so you'd had some, well, you can see, right? Change of character. We come up here and then retrace, but none of that has happened. If anything, right here, I mean, this is a good spot. Let's see, I'm out of log scale, just regression channel. Right, even though we're at this slope here, until that breaks, right, that's 2 standard deviations. Look how it holds it, right? 2 standard deviations on either side here. Until we get out of here, well, it's just going to grind, right? So something has to happen. It needs a catalyst of some sort. I don't know what it's going to be, but right now the drift is just lower, right? From, what was this here, 47, swing, lower high, lower low, lower high. Lower low. Now this, it threatened it. Isn't that amazing? Threatened to break it. Was it run into the order block, the supply zone? Right. One more, another great example. Oh my God, I can't sell that. It's going straight up. You sure? You sure you can't sell that? Let's flesh it out a little bit. Last pivot. Sure you can't sell that? I mean, now, okay, it's not 50 to the tick, right? That's just a wick that goes through. Oh, what a great example, right? So I'm glad we're seeing this here. Do you see that? That's what I want to see into a supply zone here. In and out in a hurry, right? Oh, hello, psh, gone. All right, so same thing here. Oh, hello, gone. Just popping my head in to say hi. I'm out of here. That's what you're looking for, right? And now, I mean, there's some tells here. That's wick rejection, clearly, right? But now, oh shit, right? Where's the lowest low right there? So I draw that across. That would be telling if we're going to break that lowest close here. Do we do it? Well, there's no order block down here, right? Because do you see why? You can't just go, oh, last down before the up, right? To create an order block, it has to do something. Right, it would have to break that high. So there is no order block here because we didn't get a new high, right? So all we have here are sell order blocks. Now we have some flip zones here, which, oh God, I know. You're gonna have to watch those videos here because I can't. It would take me an hour to explain all this. But a flip zone is just a demand or a supply zone that breaks, right? So it's the age-old idea of support becomes resistance, right? Or resistance becomes support, right? That's all that's happening, right? Remember, there's nothing new under the sun here. This is just it's just a different way to organize and define where the support and the resistance is, right? So we used to just always say, okay, well, there's the resistance. Well, now this is a little bit more thoughtful, right? So why? Why here, right? It's the last up before the down, right? Now look how perfectly it gets nailed, right? So again, it's not that it's new. It's just it's a more thoughtful way to identify where it is, right? Now, but just because it's there doesn't mean it doesn't break, can't break, right? They're because every time you get a break of structure, you're leaving behind a zone, right? So they're breaking on both sides all day long. It's trying to identify the best one. So well, how do you do that? Well, that's why you don't just do SMC by itself, in my opinion. Why would you forget? Why would you now abandon what is shit? If you watch me for any time at all, there should be exactly zero doubt in your mind about how the market moves, right? Here, I could just do this. I could do this 5,000 times. In fact, I think I have, right? Look. Swing, retrace to the 50. Swing, retrace to the 50. Swing. Now, order block here, right? So this is one. So you'd be looking there and you'd be thinking, oh, wait a minute, it broke the golden zone here, right? It did. Of course it did, right? It has to do it to get there. But we get all the way up here. We get past the 786. We get right into that demand zone. Down we go, right? So it's another way to look, say, oh, man, well, we broke the golden zone because it would have been just as valid here. You just don't have an order block sitting right here. Well, you got a big fair value gap, but you could have seen that could have gone there. But when it breaks, oh God, looks like it got another one on the other side. I know this is getting crowded. Well, it might be too far, but look what we do. Shit, I know you can't see that. Oh, let's get right on it. Why do I think they still ran it? Because, right, that's pretty close, but look where we go. That's algo target to the tick. So here, that's actually a decent example. Let me get these. Let me hide these. Let's go to Mark. Okay, so let me get those off of there. It should clear up in a second. Look at what it does here as it's hitting the demands. Pardon me, the supply zone. Look at that algo complete at the see. Here's what you're trying to do. Okay, so we broke the golden zone. Okay, well remember there's always an algo on the other side. So is that a front run? Well, it looks like it could be. Right? It's a couple of ticks off of the 50, which they will do. But look here. How do I know it's an algo? That's how. That's to the tick, guys, right? I promise you that's not random. There's very little that's random in the markets, right? It's almost nothing, right? So we get here and we get a perfect tick at the order block, right? At the supply zone. That's how you identify where's the right? If there's order blocks and supply and demand zones all day long being broken, how do we pick the right one? Well, there's a good idea right there. What is that, right? It's just confluence. Not to mention, look at the regression channel that I just drew here. We're coming up right to the edge of it, right? So that's the kind of confluence that you're looking for. 200, order block, supply zone, algo completing. Shit, what do we have down here, right? You got a peak here. Oh, look, you couldn't even get to the upper edges here. So we roll over here. RSI rolls over. The OBV can't get any new legs here. Can't challenge this. We roll over. Straight down, straight down, straight down. Now here, oh shit, let's get this out of here. This is what I was talking about before. Okay, so here we are. Let me go back to, let's get you out of here. Let's go back to log scale. I gotta bring you over here. Oh shit, that's not gonna do it. All right, so I've got these, all of these are down here, right? So you can, again, look, order blocks galore here on the 8 hour here. Order block, order block, order block, order block. Here's the big one down here. Demand is what that's saying. So here, another good example, right? So just pay attention to this, right? Swing, we come back to the order block. We're out of there fast, right? Same thing here. Look, right? Here's the order block right here. That little marker here is telling me there's the order block. We go up, we come back to it. I want to be out of there in a hurry. We're coming back to it. I want to be out in a hurry. I don't want to linger. I don't want to see it linger, right? It's likely to break if it lingers. in and out, right? You're looking for V reactions. What shit? You got plenty of examples right here. So if we're looking here, let's see. So from this, is it here? I think it is here. Although I think here. Now take note here out on the 8 hour. That's the strong low. Why? Why is that the strong low? Because that's the low that gave us the high, right? It gave us the change of character, and the internal breaks the structure. So this is the swing high. This is the strong low. So I think it's here. Aristotle's going to give Aristotle. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss that here. So let me get that off of here. All right. So for a bull, let me get these off here. All right. So this is, remember, Aristotle. Posted up a DM here. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss that for you guys. So as we see it here, right? So remember, algo does not care about any of this, doesn't care. All it sees is this. Oh, come here. All it sees is swing low to swing high. That's all of this, not relevant. Boom, golden zone. Now, we didn't get exactly big legs coming out of there, but you can see, I mean, you can see the algorithm fire, right? We get into the golden zone. Look, as we get close, now we're in. Doesn't mean it holds. Just means you can see what happened there. That's still the strong low. So you've got a very big order block. So here, let me zoom in down here. Pretty big one. If I draw it over on the 2 hour here, so let me bring it over. Okay, so now we look here and we think, oh boy, look at all the pivots here. So you got order blocks all down in here. If we're going to break and we're going to come down and get into some of this, I'd start looking for some reactions, but very reasonable to think this is all inducement, that eventually what they're after is this one. And you'd want to see it come out of there again quickly. That's the big one. And I think if we go all the way out to a daily, you see the same thing, but you've got another one. The biggest one right here is right here. Right now, it's very possible that all of these, let's see if I can do it. All of this, it would just be inducement, right? So I can get that up a little bit, right? There's liquidity around each of those pivots, right? So if we're going to come down here and take this one, it can all be just in the context of trying to get down, get all that liquidity, come down here, and then we go. So if it just from the SMC side of it, that's, now we're trying to think, okay, well, how do we make that work? Well, okay, again, now here I'm on the daily. So it starts with here, I'll wrap up here because I know I'm kind of repeating what we've been through, right? Starts there. That's what I see. There's no subdivision here, right? So when you have a waterfall like that, if I can finish it, I'd much rather finish that as the 5. This is the count that I see here. 1, 2, you could probably do this 3 different ways. 4, 5, right? So you've got an A, expand the B into the 4 and not overlap the 1s. That's the first 5. 3 into the B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's why I hang on to that as a zigzag. Now, this is not accommodating that view in terms of what we have here. So turning that into a 5, God, it's just so fucking ugly, right? So this would have to be the 5. This has to be the 3. This has to be the 4 because I got a 5 coming out of here. So that's your impulse. What is that? Or you're going to do it here. One, 2, 3, 4. Jesus. A, B, C. I actually think you'd have to do it this way. A, B, C into the 2. You have absolutely no subdivision here. You just got a waterfall. But at least you get a 3 into the 4. I'll be damned, right? I mean, it's you could certainly see. Fuck, if that's what it is. Well, market surprises me all the time. All right, I should probably wrap up here. But this would be where I think you got to really be paying attention down here. If we're coming down here, we certainly have order block. Well, you can see here, right? We've been down here to this one. Had a visit, got out. Had a visit, got out. Now golden zone. Do we get out? Looks like it could be challenging over the weekend. So we'll see. Oh shit, that's 39 minutes. Okay, I don't know if there's much else I can offer here other than, So what are we doing? We've been going sideways for over a year in Bitcoin. Right now, there's lots of trading if you're a shorter term trading, but looking for the longer term entry points was likely why people are watching my content here, because that's what I'm trying to show you here. How do we approach this longer term entry? I think there's a lot of hurry up and wait here until there's more clarity as to what the hell we have here. Oh shit! I thought I had it. Let's go down. I gotta wrap up here. Let's finish here. I'll take it out of log with this last. What do we got here? What do we got here? It doesn't look particularly good, does it? Well, if anything, right? So your first thought would be some sort of ABC. I mean, that's a hard fit to get an impulse into that. Right, well, there's the one we just went through. Like, there's the classic coming up to the zone. Right, so what is this? Well, it's going to be really hard to lean into any kind of account until we see what does this hold, or do we break lower? Tough one. All of this, right? That wick rejection down here, same thing, and then here's the order block. So if we're sitting right here, I think to some degree your hope is that we just stay range bound here between this material here, but clearly the trend is down, right? So there's no reason to be a hero here and try and pick the turn, right? There's never a reason to do it. So if nothing else, after the 41 minutes here of me babbling, don't try and buy it. Don't just, God, it's such an amateur move. Yes, some are gonna go, but over time, I promise you, all you're gonna do is blow your account up, and then you're gonna be sorry you did it, right? There's never a reason to do it. Let it. You want to really be good? Do it that way. All right. If nothing else, if you want to be short term, at least wait for the lower high. At least do that. Right? Don't try and buy the turn. It's just never a good reason. Okay. With that, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, all of the SMC stuff. If you're not familiar, get over that playlist. If you want to save some money on it, they do have a 7-day trial. 7-day trial, so you can use it. See if you like it. It will mean nothing to you unless you go through those videos. Well, they don't have to be mine, right? There's plenty of people teaching SMC out on the web. But if you like the way I teach, I think that's a good place to start. If you don't, well, there's plenty of places on YouTube that will teach it to you. But as would relate to this particular indicator on TradingView, well, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're interested in this, it's very reasonably priced, and we'll get you 10% off a month, but you got to use the link in our link tree underneath so that they can tag it and they know that you came from TradeDevils, and then you'll get that discount. Otherwise, you're just going to pay full price. So with that, all right, that's about all I can add. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. Hopefully we get some more clarity coming into next week, and it's not just more down, but certainly looks that way going into the weekend. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. I'll talk to you on Monday for our next live stream.